Okay.
Oh,
Remember that?
yeah, I remember that.
That's my only job. Marie.
Consider
Oh, Grace.
Reese.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, my heart's beating so fast. I'm so excited and yet sad.
Okay,
Yep.
putting my phone on silent.
Okay, phone's on silent. Mute yourselves. Hi, Celeste. I was looking through all these Feedback Friday videos, trying to like grab clips, which we were complete failures at up until the minutes before this. And I saw
I'm still failing.
Celeste so many times. I saw Suzanne Wattsman so many times.
There's a
But
lot of dancing.
with her private dancing and her references. Lots of Breeze Honeycutt. Lots of really bad mistakes.
We're never going to be on network TV, but that's okay.
So say you.
Oh, that's true. The Amy channel is coming.
That's why I'm Amy Tropolis on Instagram, because I'm trying to create the perfect world.
Amy channel. Hints and tips for daily living.
Thanks for putting your videos on so we can see you. I see you, Ellen. Oh my gosh.
Hello, everyone. Wow.
Yay.
So
And the
great.
chat's just fully on, I think. Yeah.
Chat away. Oh, you know what? Let me go get my power cable.
Oh, for the love of God.
Sorry.
Am I charged? Listen, this, no matter how much we ever want to try to be pro, and I've seen some really pro Zoom presentations, we are just never going to be there. So just love us. Love us for the imperfections. Please. If I don't know I don't know if you guys have know how to raise your hands at all, but is there anybody here that has never been to a Feedback Friday presentation? Because this is hilarious if you haven't.
Wait, did we allow?
I don't know. Did we?
I thought I said.
Lisa Schwartz.
Welcome.
Baby Jesus, welcome.
I
Well,
I'm new to Feedback Friday, but I'm not new to your site and your work. So I was very late to the party.
it's okay.
Late
The
to the
party
party,
is
but that's
on
all right.
Zoom.
You've got lots of you'll have 134 episodes to just go down a rabbit hole of
Gonna be a long winter.
yeah, it's gonna be a long winter for you. And again, going through all the Feedback Friday videos, I was like, wow, there's some really bad ones. There's some really good ones, but there's some really bad ones.
Really bad ones. We couldn't help it. We couldn't help it.
Okay, just
All
let
right.
people
How we
keep coming in.
We're good.
So early on, oh good, Britt Bowles is here too, because it's very important she's here. Early on when I was looking at Feedback Friday videos, when we had first started, we were just making our own songs up. We were not understanding how to use the mute button.
Very well.
He was talking really, really loudly and explaining things really like maybe too much in depth of what to do with the chat, where questions, where yeah, we were over explaining everything at the very beginning of this. It was
We still do.
do we?
Yeah, it's okay. Suzanne, you're in a car.
Suzanne's not gonna miss this.
No, I'm here. I'm here.
Good to see you. All right.
What did I do?
Oh,
I'm here.
we
Good.
hear you. We hear you, Suzanne. Coming from coming from the field.
I'm on the way to a concert. Yeah.
Well, I don't know how you're going to be dancing in your car, but well, maybe we could see some funky, fresh moves you put on.
Yeah, I got some new moves. New moves.
All right, it's like chair yoga, but chair dancing.
Dancing. Somebody else is driving. It's okay.
All right, all right,
All is good.
all is good. All right.
Look at the green dot, Amy.
Reese.
I
All
think
right,
we're
we should-
ready for our theme song. What do you think?
I think it's time. So we're gonna
Right. Amy, count us in.
woo, we're gonna do something different. We're gonna wing it. We're gonna do something different. Oh God. My heart, I swear to God, I still get nervous to do this.
Yeah.
This is like a big one if I mess it up.
No, it's fine. You got your other one.
Okay, I got we're gonna have somebody else sing today. It's a little broken up, but you know the song. So
So
give
are
it a s-
we.
Here it comes. Spoiler alert,
Will prevail.
Rit Bulls wins. I like Marion Richards. I'm vibrating with excitement. Okay,
You give me the green light.
1, 2, 3, hit it.
Well, it's the end of the week, and where have you been? It's Feedback Friday, so come on in. Come and sit down and stare at the screen. We've got a presenter that you've never seen. It's Feedback Friday, and we're on the loose. You be the train, and we can be the caboose. Welcome to my house. I'm Indigo Doula. Things might seem blue now, but they could get bluer. It's Feedback Friday with Kathy and Amy. Mashed potatoes and the gravy. It's Feedback Friday all day long. It's feedback, feedback. It's Feedback Friday.
So great. Well, welcome everyone. I'm just going to take it from there and do my normal intro. Welcome to Feedback Friday, episode 134. It is the last Feedback Friday that we're going to do. And it's kind of like Amy and I are nervous, we're happy, we're sad, and it's just been an amazing journey with everybody. So for almost 3 years, this has been our show where we speak with dyers, artists, activists, growers, historians, scientists, writers about our favorite topic, which is natural dyeing and color. And of course, you know me, I'm Kathy Hattori from Botanical Colors, and Amy Dufault, who is our communications director and who has been curating Feedback Fridays for all these years. Today, we're hopefully going to make you laugh and not cry, although Amy says she's definitely crying. Me, I'm not much of a crier, but you know, if I'm crying, okay, I'm crying too. So what was or what is Feedback Friday? Feedback Friday was our response to the situation that was called the pandemic. And we went live in May of 2020 because we were just so lonely. We couldn't go anywhere. We couldn't see anybody. And we had Zoom as a medium. And it just so happened that my career before doing natural dyes was I actually worked for a video conferencing company. So I was kind of familiar with old technology. I wasn't quite sure what Zoom was, but I'd been in front of a video camera quite a bit. And so it wasn't that big of a deal. And Amy is just a natural. I mean, she was born to perform and she just took to it like a duck to water. So we both realized that there was a need to gather community in a creative space with artists. And at first it was just friends of ours and people that we knew, but it became something that we were able to reach out worldwide and talk to people from all over and talk about what they were doing and what they hoped to do. And if they were teaching online or if they had a process or a garden or a rural space that they were able to move around in because they weren't in lockdown the way that we were. So it was really great to be able to share, you know, our hopes, aspirations, and situations just with our entire community. And it just turned into something that neither of us really realized could be. And so for that, we're so grateful to everybody who participated, helped, supported, encouraged along the way. The result has been overwhelming, with well over 12,000 people attending a presentation at least once, but many more have been to over half of our Feedback Fridays. And, you know, with 134 episodes, that's a lot of Feedback Fridays that you've spent every Friday mornings, from, at least in my time zone, 9 to 10, talking about whatever is interesting for the week. So now Feedback Friday presentations are viewed worldwide as part of college and university curricula, natural dye and fiber organization conferences, education for global brands, and independent designer. And for Amy and Kathy's favorite group, the attendees in different time zones who set their alarms to wake in the middle of the night to watch it live. Thank you. Thank you for waking up and joining us, even when it was 2 a.m. for you. We'll be talking about some of our favorite moments today and hope that you can join in. But now a few reminders. We have just launched our final kit, and it's based on traditional colors of Japan. So this one was real personal for me. I've just put in the description that, you know, I spent my entire life surrounded by Japanese textiles, but pretty ignorant of exactly what they were. And so it was really exciting to be able to draw from some traditional colors and some surprising colors and be able to offer them to you in this kit of leaves, roots, and flowers from Japan. And we also have a harvest kit that is from our growers that we've been working with for a number of years, that are beautiful flowers, along with 5 mordanted handkerchiefs and 1 silk scarf, so that you can do a number of different immersion and or bundle dye combinations using these flowers that have been grown for us. We also have a number of indigo dyed winter hats that are here just for the holidays. We also have our beginner kit. I mean, all sorts of stuff is on the site. So if you're still shopping, we're still selling. And yeah, join us for that and enjoy some of the products that we created for you. The other thing is I will be teaching a 2024 Foundation in Natural Dyes class, and that is, I'm trying to remember the date. Anyway, it's in February, I believe, February 23rd and 24th or 22nd.
I'm gonna grab it.
23rd. That's going to be on Zoom. So if you're missing the Zoom experience, you can have it again with this workshop. And we'll be going through some of the basic colors and how to get good color, teaching you a little bit about Mordantein, color blending, using certain modifiers to shift colors. So it's a great start if you've been interested in natural dyes and just haven't been able to get kind of beyond some basic info. This will be a really good foundation for you. So hope you can join us for that. And for today, Amy, the chat is open, right?
It sure is. Thanks.
Okay,
for
and
all
then are
these-
people gonna just be able to either raise their hand to give us commentary and or put stuff in chat?
Well, here's an idea, because we're just
Oh.
sort of making this up on the fly, because
Yeah.
we're never really good at, again, organizing things. People are putting really beautiful things in the chat, which I love you guys, and thank you for saying all the nice things that you're saying to Kathy and I. If you want to ask us any questions at all, and you want to use your like hand raising little thing to ask us a specific question about anything about Feedback Friday or anything funny that you've ever wanted to ask us about about any episode or whatever you want to ask us, you can ask us. We're going to keep that open. There's some, Kathy and I are going to talk about some of the things that stuck out for us a
Yep.
little bit and have a conversation, kind of like if you've seen the alumni conversations, where Kathy and I are just going to have a conversation about some things. And then when we see you guys put your hand up, then we'll ask you to ask us a question or whatever.
Yep.
So that's how we're going to roll today. And if
Okay,
you guys want
so
any more Feedback Friday video songs, I got 2 more queued, but maybe
That's
we'll do
right.
it in a little bit.
we could do them all. We could sing along. So let's just get started. I'm gonna go ahead and
Oh, let's do this.
tell me.
Oh, great. Now I'm going to add myself here with you. Great. I've already had to cry once. Thanks. Tissue. Got it.
Oh, don't have any. Dang.
All right. Kathy, you want me to jump in?
Jump, Amy.
Okay, I'm jumping, sister. All right. So some notes that I wrote down, like, I don't know if you guys know this, but Feedback Friday actually started about 5 years ago, and it was just a blog post. And it was Kathy answering questions, because everybody always has questions about their natural dyeing. So it's been around for a long time, but like Kathy said, when the pandemic started, we just were like, oh my God, what are we gonna do? People are sort of lost, lonely, scared out there in their houses. Maybe we should do something on Zoom. So that's when we decided to make it go live. And again, from watching it this week, it has been like hilarious just seeing how bad we were at it. But when we first started, we had about 35 people for the first one. And the first, the first one was on Kathy showing us how to use raw dye materials, and did a whole presentation on that. And it was pretty clunky, but it was great.
Here, clunky,
It was
but
so good. And then the first presenter that we had was actually my friend Melissa Moses from here on Cape Cod. And Melissa was teaching us how to make a natural dye garden, because why? We were all stuck in our houses. So why wouldn't we want to know how to grow a dye garden, a flower garden? And I wish I could see everybody right now. I can only see a handful of people, but if you would even raise your hand, like how many people actually started flower farming and flower gardening at that time, like during that time? Like my front yard is all about dye flowers now. Yeah. It's like
hands are going.
Yeah.
Yep.
People were running out of all kinds of different things, garden supply stores, because everybody started growing plants. And so that was fun. That Melissa was the first one, and we were talking about that. And just to like jump in too, just thinking about that, Kathy, like a lot of talking about like natural dye farming has kind of wound its way into what we do now, Botanical Colors, which we think is really important, which is we've been trying to grow our natural dye farmers so we can get these really beautiful raw dye materials from US dye farmers who are doing regenerative soil practices, climate beneficial practices. And that's something we're definitely growing moving forward at Botanical Colors. And that whole harvest box that we just launched was, utilizing all those farmers and the with those connections that we made during that time.
Yeah, they were great.
Yeah.
I think the other thing for me that was really amazing was that, as even though I've been doing natural dyes for a while and I've kind of known a lot of people in the natural dye, universe, I actually hadn't met that many of them. And I was kind of like too shy to approach them pre-pandemic, like to even like have a conversation. It was just like, oh my God, I just can't do it. I can't talk to these people. So I was pretty reluctant, but then the moment we were in lockdown and there was no way to even think about getting on a plane or traveling somewhere, it was just like, well, we don't really have many choices here. Let's just email them and see if they're interested in talking to us. And both Amy and I were just able to kind of begin to build these connections with artists and scholars and people who were part of institutions that we'd always seen their name, on the newsletters that we got, but we didn't know who they were. And that was really gratifying for me to be able to just kind of hang out, like, and you find out that they're just amazingly wonderful, lovely people, and they had so much to share, and they were so incredibly generous with their time, their expertise. And it just felt like it was something that grew, like we were basically a bunch of mycelium, we were just like spreading everywhere underneath the ground. And every once in a while, a little mushroom would pop up and we'd be able to see what a beautiful little thing that was. And I just felt like that was the thing that really kept us going, that like even post-pandemic, that there was this entire infrastructure of incredible people at all levels who were part of, for better word, our family. So that, love that. And I still love it. And we still want to keep that going. So that's exciting for me.
Yeah. I know I had written down this other, just thinking about like all the different people that have come on. And what was interesting at the very beginning is because we all were stuck in our homes and we were not allowed to leave our homes, we had access to so many people that were like, just, they couldn't be like, I know we were talking about Narayan Kandekar and the Forbes pigment collection, and Narayan couldn't get into Harvard, but so we had all these beautiful images of Harvard and that Forbes pigment collection. And of course, that big hilarious moment that Kathy and I after were texting each other going, oh my God, did he really just give the finger? Oh my God. We're like, we've gone next level with Zoom here. We're like giving the finger, because he wasn't giving it to us. He was telling a story about
Vanta Black.
Vanta Black, and like this big finger that he was
protected.
Yeah.
And so then somebody else made something called, it was a pink color, but the pink was universally available to anybody who wanted to use it with no licensing, no money exchanged. It was just, that was going to be the color. And Vanta Black, it was completely the opposite. It was a very exclusive, it needed a license. You had to pay a lot of money to get the formula. And so in order to illustrate, the difference of this guy who made the pink versus the person who made the black, Narayan had to show us that, the person in the pink was extending his middle finger to the person in the black to say, screw you, this is available to anybody who wants it. And so he just really eloquently illustrated it. And I was so shocked. I was just absolutely like, oh my God, he just gave us.
Yeah. I think too, like another thing that I had written down here was, I remember like Sasha Doer was one of the first presenters, and Sasha was actually stuck in New Zealand at an Airbnb with her family and couldn't leave the country. And she had just had a book that came out and had no ability to have book signings, to get out there and do her thing. And so we did a virtual book talk for Sasha on her porch with like her kids on the other side of the screen, the glass of the screen, or the sliding glass door, like, Mom,
What are you
doing?
doing?
Do something. Stop talking, Mom. Just, oh no, it's gonna make me sad. Oh no.
What?
I'm just gonna, all right, I'm gonna laugh and cry at the same time. But, just thinking about things like that. And I know, oh.
Well, Amy, why don't we share another interesting moment?
I want to say, I have to finish this though, but
yeah.
Okay. Okay. I think that it was really hard for a lot of people. Like, I know Julia Rose is on here, and Julia Rose was like one of the many people who had to teach her kids at the table. She would watch Feedback Friday, and like her kids were at the opposite side, but they knew it was Feedback Friday time, and was just like, this is my time. And I think there were so many people out there that we were all going through so many different things. and had people around us where we weren't used to having people around us, or we had like the kids, you know, like your kids were home from school, but everybody was trying so hard to make it through this horrible time. And for me, like, I remember the first time, like I met Julia Rose at one of our first classes and our first in-person classes. And I felt like I knew Julia so well just from Feedback Friday. And we were, we were both crying, hugging each other, because it was like, oh my God, the virtual has become real, you know, like, oh, and even moving into that, Kathy, thinking about, you know, when we would get to like with Porfirio's classes in Ventura, and we didn't tell people we're going to be there, and then people showed up and they were like, I remember, I forgot who it was, they went, are you kidding me? You guys are really here? It's really you? Oh my God, you know, like it was this these connections that we made with people. And it wasn't like, I think it was because we created a really happy space, a positive space in the midst of the pandemic. We're not foolish to not know that, but that it was this real connection that we had with new people, like new friends, old friends, and hopefully forever friends, that we could bond over natural dyes. And that this weird thing that we're on right now called Zoom was this opportunity for us to do that.
Yeah, because I think Zoom became such a weapon. I mean, for anybody who had to either have their children be homeschooled or do their own schooling, you know, Zoom was just like, oh God, another thing. But we were able to use it as a tool to actually open connections. So I actually do want to just apologize if you actually were teaching your children at home, because I dropped a lot of F-bombs during feedback.
Kathy.
And I'm now thinking about it going, oh my goodness, that probably wasn't appropriate, but okay, we were under duress. Amy, I am going to talk a little bit about Abu Bakr and see if I can actually share this video.
Okay.
I switched browsers because it wasn't working, but so those of you who know me know that my dear friend Abu Bakr Fofana, you know, he caught COVID, and then he was able to finally relocate to Mali for a bit and kind of wait out part of the pandemic there. But you know, for him, it was just so difficult because he was always either doing you know, shows or teaching and doing museum exhibits. And of course, all of that just ground to a halt during that time. But in Mali, we were talking with him and saying, hey, you know, could it be possible for us to see your studio? And so we talked about it a little bit, had a few Zoom meetings, and then we were able to do it. So just bear with me. Amy, you can sing in the background if I don't get this right.
Oh boy. I heard a lot of that singing in those old Feedback Friday, before we had a Feedback Friday song. It was pretty brutal.
It's brutal.
So it looks the same, Kathy, as well. It's better. It's better. Whatever you just did. Do what you just did again. Yeah. Oh, you did it.
There we go. All right. So let me just set the stage. So Abu Bakr, his workshop is in Bamako, which is the largest city in Mali, West Africa. And he has this particular indigo plant is like a vine. And I now am blanking on what the scientific name is, but we'll put it in the chat once I remember. And that particular vine grows wild and happens to be in his studio. So he decided that he was going to harvest some as part of his studio tour. And he climbed on this rickety ladder with a basket in his hand. And that's where we start.
Awesome.
Hello, everyone. If you are in, good evening, good morning. I'm just collecting few leaves of Philoneptera cyanescens. And I will be then back to you.
Looks beautiful.
Yeah, they are beautiful young leaves now after a few rains. We have beautiful leaves of Philoneptera coming. And I don't need to collect that much, but just few to be able to. So, hello everyone. I was saying that for today, Feedback Friday, I would like to introduce you to some of my material. And of course, one of the main material in this studio is the indigo. And we are lucky that this is the beginning of the rainy season now. And we had few rain already. And after those 2 rains, we have some beautiful young leaves of Philoneptera cyanescent coming. Now I'm collecting those leaves, some of those leaves, to just be able to show you the magic or the alchemy of this native plant from West Africa, Philoneptera cyanescent. So I don't need that much, but I'm collecting few leaves, and then we can have the first experience together with those leaves. So, and it's very beautiful. And we have something interesting also. I don't know if you can see. We have, I don't know if you can hear those birds as well. And we have some weaver birds, I don't know how to call them, with beautiful nests. And this is a sign of luck when the birds choose your place to have their nest. And because it's also the rainy season, and we have some beautiful frangipani flower here, I can share with you. So I'm going to come down. I think I have enough leaves. I'm going to come down, and then you will see me in a few minutes. Thank you.
So good. Abu Bakr on the roof.
On the roof with us fearing for his life, wondering, are we going to document the demise of Abu Bakr Fofana?
Luckily,
Oh my God.
the answer was no.
Kathy, is it time for another Feedback Friday song?
Yeah.
Should we do that? Yeah, Suzanne's saying it's time.
Okay.
Okay, hold on. Okay. So I just want to give a big shout out to Brees Honeycutt. Yeah, Brees, I see you. So there was lots of times that Kathy and I were in the midst of like life and heavy stuff. And Brees was always there. To fill in the blanks. But we unfortunately on those days, Kathy was on those couple days that Brees did help, like 2 times that I was on with her, we had people who actually sang the Feedback Friday songs live. And so the Feedback Friday songs got a little tweaked a little bit because it wasn't Kathy and Amy mashed potatoes and the gravy. It was Amy and Brees. So
right, because I was teaching.
As you were teaching, but I think in this one, Kathy, hold on, let me make sure I get this right again. I try to cue it up to that moment. Yeah. And this one, I think we have you at the beginning. Guess what? Wait a minute. Maybe we should introduce. No, you know what we're going to do? We've got so many curveballs for you today, but guess what? Here's your greatest curveball ever. Our Feedback Friday singer is here, who wrote the Feedback Friday song. Yeah, Jimmy Snyder performing live the Feedback Friday song. There's Suzanne already.
Yeah, she's ready.
She's ready.
This is my biggest hit.
This is Jimmy's biggest hit. All right, everybody mute themselves.
Are we ready?
I think so. Are you ready?
I think so.
All right.
All right.
Great.
Well, it's the end of the week. Now
Where you been? Well, now it's Feedback Friday, so come on in. Come sit down and stare at your screen. We've got a presenter that you never seen.
the Feedback Friday, and we're
On the loose,
You be the train
we'll be the caboose. It's Feedback Friday
with Amy and Breeze. They're like the axle.
and the grease. It's Feedback Friday all day long. Feedback, feedback, Feedback Friday.
One of my strings went out of tune.
Hey, yeah.
Well, that was perfect. So cute. Like the axle and the grease.
Like the axle and the grease.
So good.
Yep. Hey, Kathy, you know some other things that I really liked a lot about Feedback Friday?
Tell me, Amy.
I'll tell you. I really loved all the people that talked about climate change and really focused their natural dying on climate change. And I wrote some people down just so I didn't forget, but there's so many. Almost everybody somehow touched upon the environment in some way. But I love the Water Matters Feedback Friday with Jamie Bourgeois and Madeline McGarity, and the talk about the Louisiana's Cancer Alley and all the chemical companies that were just up the stream up of the Mississippi River and the poor communities, and using matter as this way that was a sort of control to look at how the water had changed so much, but using like the different colors of the matter to talk about something that was really, really hard to talk about without showing it in some kind of artistic or kind of colorful way to talk to a new audience. That was exciting or interesting. I love when Tali Weinberg came on, who was a weaver and a climate activist, who Tali utilized her weaving, sculpture, and thread drawing to visualize climate change and the data with all the
Right.
different colors on the different types of
change the
tubing. Yeah, that was incredible. Moira Bateman, a more recent Feedback Friday. I never knew that Minnesota had so many peat bogs. And I love the work that Moira was doing with water around she's in Minneapolis. And, but looking at how kind of peat bogs and water, sediment and color could tell this really exciting story about climate change and environmental change. And also somebody who had a massive impact on me was Anita Cazzola, who we're not leaving without showing Anita's Feedback Friday song. We can't. But when Anita came on and had the Botanical Reclamation Project that was looking at all these quote unquote sad spaces, these spaces we cast off as like the medians on the highway, the gravel pits, all these different places that we take as like, they're just sort of sad places. But Anita proved everybody wrong by finding all the different types of plants that were in that area and made incredible dyes out of them and made beautiful flags that she would stick in the spaces too, that would show the colors. She had an amazing website that she would show what colors, the historical significance of the flowers too. Like, it was really beautiful. I know only, and again, Brees, I know I said I was going to name drop you a lot when I texted you earlier, but Brees didn't talk about this. Brees had her own, Brees was very early on as a Feedback Friday presenter too on bookmaking. And one of the funniest parts about what Brees did was, because we didn't have all these holders for our cameras and stuff to do these awesome shots, Brees actually taped her phone to a chair above the table she was working on so that we could see what she was doing with her hands. It came out so great the way she rigged it up. She totally did a MacGyver. But before I even, like when I first met Brees, it has the same impact as Anita had on me. Brees had this project that was called Underfoot, and it was looking at all these things that are just all around us that we never pay attention to, that are medicine, that are color. And I feel like Brees and Anita were definitely people that really made me think differently, like super lenses on my eyes on how I looked at the world around me.
Yeah, I think the awareness and building awareness, I mean, a lot of the folks that we invited to Feedback Friday, we kind of peripherally knew, sort of like the little thumbnail bio that, you know, you would see on the internet. We kind of knew about them, but we didn't really know very much about them at all. And it was through us, we would always do like a run-through meeting before we actually did the Feedback Friday presentation. And so they would kind of talk to us about what they wanted to talk about. And it was always so fascinating to like, oh, you do that? Oh, this is this. I mean, we had people who were talking about seaweed, which, you know, I always look at it as food stuff. I never thought of it as colorant or medicine or the fact that some of it grew in places where it was not supposed to grow, things like that. I just didn't have that kind of awareness. And so having all of these different people that we had just kind of tugged on a thread, and we were able to kind of find somebody who had such an interesting story and was really dedicated to environmental impacts or water quality or, you know, maintaining soil quality or keeping toxins away, or activism all around that. And you know, speaking of activism, I mean, I feel like we were actually pretty outspoken about some of the huge issues that were confronting us at the time and still do. And we still talk about climate change and climate impacts and what those mean to us and how we can mitigate it, both, I think, as personal activists and people who are aware, and looking out both to the future and to our entire community, and what is it that we can do that we can continue to build it. So that was really, I think, for me, Amy, super gratifying that there were these, you know, people whose names I kind of knew, or maybe I looked and saw that they were doing a practice that I wasn't really that interested in. But then I became totally obsessed. And I have to say, mushrooms was the thing. Like,
Mushrooms.
yeah,
Yeah, mushrooms. People are
dying.
crazy,
Yeah,
crazy about mushrooms for sure.
crazy about mushrooms now.
Crazy about mushrooms. So somebody just asked in the chat how we met.
Tinder?
It was Tinder.
It was Tinder.
I was looking for
I swiped.
a middle-aged woman with gray hair who really knew how to tell bad jokes and had some strange sense of humor.
And lived
In Seattle.
2,500 miles away.
And she was like, I'm looking for, yeah, no, for real. Kathy, I had been running an online magazine called Eco Salon, which we had just sold. My Anna Brones, shout out to Anna, who also just did all our boxes, all the artwork on our boxes. We are family. I got my sisters and me. We had just finished selling Eco Salon, and I was trying to reconfigure my life. I'd been just a journalist. I've been a journalist my whole life. That's where I started out. So I was still doing a lot of writing, but I was still looking for some opportunities, and I'd helped create one of the first sustainable fashion conferences at FIT. And Kathy was a speaker at FIT, and we ended up meeting there, and Kathy was looking for some PR help, and I knew every single writer at every single publication, so it was like, it was a good fit. But then little by little, we started doing more, where I was doing social media, which I still run social media now, thanks to Cara Marie Piazza for helping with that as well. But then, you know, taken on a lot of different things over the 11 years I've been at Botanical Colors. Somebody said the other day they couldn't believe I've been with Botanical Colors that long, but I've been at Botanical Colors for over 11 years now. But yeah, so Kathy and I have she's one of my, I don't want to say oldest friends, like you're old, but you're one of my longtime friends at this point. One of my favorite people to travel with, for sure.
Together.
Yeah.
A good time. Having a good time. Yeah, I think that's super important too, is that it's kind of like the ability to basically live. I live in Seattle. Amy lives on Cape Cod. We're about as far apart as we could possibly be. But somehow we're able to pick up the thread every single time. no matter what we're talking about. You know, if we're agreeing, if we're not agreeing, whatever the topic is, we're just able to kind of just keep going. The flow is really great. So that's why I think it worked.
Mhm.
So I'm really, really grateful to that too, Amy. You were amazing. You still are amazing.
Don't,
Okay,
don't,
Amy. Yeah,
don't.
your bang cutting could have been better.
I don't want to cry on, I mean, this is recorded for God's sakes. I could go ugly crying here. This is, Deborah Barker we've been messaging each other secretly here. Like, this is ugly cry time if we wanted it to be. Come on. There's so many things we're cutting out because if talking about Julia Rose sitting at a table with her children got me like that, I'm not going any further.
You're not going any deeper.
Here, and my
Okay.
mother knows I could
Mother
talk about
knows.
many different things. I'm not going there.
I'll
It's not
see.
gonna happen.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah, but what was I just gonna say?
Can we talk about like scallops and the farm or something?
Scallops in the farm.
Mess
Maybe
it
it's time for another Feedback Friday song.
Well, that sounds great.
We just keep going. Oh, I know what I was gonna say. Suzanne's totally down with it. But I was trying to grab images off of the old Feedback Fridays, and because one of the things I thought was so funny, and all of you will relate to this, was because we couldn't go out and give ourselves haircuts, right? Everybody had like the worst hair ever. And Kathy and I have it documented how bad I still can
Bangs going
know
up
I
and
ship
down.
can ship into your bangs to make them lighter. But on many of the Feedback Fridays, I look like some Dutch painting or so. I'm like these thick bangs, and Kathy's hair
Way too high.
got too high up there. And then we had like Kathy's hair, we looked like Rasputin, or is that who it was that went to sleep and never woke up with a
Oh
long
no, that's Rapunzel.
Rumpelstiltskin?
Something with an R. Rip Van Winkle.
Rip Van Winkle. Yeah, it was like we were Rip Van Winkle with our hair by the time we finally got let out of the house. But also, I did write this one little note while you were talking, Kathy. One of the things I love for Feedback Friday, also early on, talking about things like hair, and I did grab shots of that, but it's kind of too grainy to show you guys. But I love that it gave us a reason to dress up from the waist up and put on lipstick. I really appreciated that, because all of us could just be in our pajama bottoms or whatever, but we're like, let's put on our coolest naturally dyed clothing. I always dress the theme. I'm in black today because I'm in mourning, but I do have Samantha Verone's jacket on that I love and wear all the time. Thank you, Samantha. But yeah, it was like we could feel normal on Fridays. I remember some people telling us it felt like their form of church on Fridays, that they don't mess with me from 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. That's my Feedback Friday time. And it was absolutely that for Kathy and I too, that we had our Feedback Friday time, because again, without going ugly crying, Kathy and I we had to do a lot with our families. We suffered a lot of loss. And Feedback Friday was always this wonderful place for me on Fridays to go to. So anyways, I am going to show you another Feedback Friday song that I hope will make you laugh. It'll make Brees laugh. But Kathy, maybe you could say something, because my screen kind of froze a little bit.
Yeah, so this particular, if Amy is able to cue it up, I was actually teaching at Shake Rag in Tennessee, and I realized that it was almost Feedback Friday time and my workshop. And so I had them, everybody, whatever they were working on, they were going to show it, and we were going to dance to the Feedback Friday song. And, normally the Feedback Friday song is it's a pretty up tempo, and, and I wasn't aware that Amy was going to have like a guest presenter to sing the song. So we sort of were like jerking all over the place until we could figure out what the tempo was, but it was a lot of fun.
Brees, I hope you're ready for this one. We have the dancing team. Hold on. We got a dancing team and we've got some banjo players. We're going to go backwards. Just so you know, Anita is our presenter today as well. Okay. Do it.
Ready?
And everybody mute yourselves if you can, so you don't interrupt this like me.
Well, it's the end of the week. Where have you been? Now it's Feedback Friday, so come on in.
2, 3, 4.
Come sit down and stare at your screen.
We've got a presenter that you've never seen.
With Feedback Friday, we're on the loose.
We'll be the train if you'll be the caboose. It's Feedback Friday with Amy and Bree. So have you ever seen two things so sweet? It's Feedback Friday all day long. Feedback, feedback, feedback Friday.
Oh my God.
We get dancers. This is great.
Yeah, that's Kathy, who's usually here.
Aw,
Kathy's teaching
look at you cuties. That's so
down in
fun.
Kewanee, Tennessee.
Anita, so good to see you. We're gonna
So
mute
good to see
ourselves because
you.
we're kind of still in class, but we just wanted to drop in and say howdy hi from
That's
South
amazing.
Tennessee at
This is-
Shake
I'm
Break.
like upside down now from all this. What am I even gonna, how am I gonna pull all this together? Okay, listen,
You can do it, Amy.
that was amazing. Okay, we got Kathy in class. Suzanne makes it on there again. Suzanne. You know what? I want to give a shout out though, seriously, to Suzanne for being our extreme dancer for almost like any episode she was on. We were like looking at Suzanne, and I know Leslie Leonard is here too. And I think Leslie Leonard has been on for every single like episode. I just want to make sure, Leslie, you know that we recognize that. And I know there's so many other people who have been here since the beginning too, for all the different episodes, even though you wouldn't turn your video on so we could see you, but we appreciate that.
Sometimes they just don't have good internet.
Sometimes.
We're gonna give them that.
Do you guys have, is there any questions you guys have? I just keep reading. I went from dark to silver over lockup. Martha. I like, yeah, about hair. So, oh, here's one from Julia Rose. Maybe for the end. Okay, well, I want to know about why the new space and plans for the future.
The new space,
Talk about the new space.
So this space I'm in right now, I'm actually visiting my mom in Durham, North Carolina. So we're celebrating her 94th birthday, and I'm out just for a few days just to hang out with her. I came out early for Christmas basically because every time I've come out, I've gotten stuck and had to stay longer than planned. So I thought, oh, I'll go a little early and maybe I'll be able to get there and back before crazy holiday-ness. But the new space for Botanical Colors, so we moved out of, if you know Seattle at all, we were in North Seattle in the Fremont neighborhood, and we were in like this tiny little rented room. It was, I think overall we had about 1,000 to 1,200 square feet, and we were in 4 different rooms. So basically on a 3-story building, we were on the 3rd floor and then also on the ground floor. And we pretty much spent our whole day walking up and down stairs, you know, moving around and kind of working alone together in a way. And so in October, we moved to a larger space in the Georgetown neighborhood. And Georgetown is industrial. It's in South Seattle. So I'm now, where I used to drive 3 miles a day, now I'm driving like about 12. So it's still not huge, but I definitely have to go on a freeway. And it's super interesting because it's an industrial area that is now turning into more of an arts neighborhood and an arts enclave. And we're really fortunate. We're on a particular street that has like all of these sort of Burning Man support people makers. So they make these huge like things that are used for outdoor festivals and just art. And so the building, the large building next to us has like 7 golden huge metal eggs perched on the roof of it because they weren't able to find another place for them. Another one has this huge tower. There's all these contraptions made out of I-beams. All of these guys are metal guys that are on our street. And so it's really great energy. There's a really lovely recycled kind of art materials place called Seattle Recreative, and it's directly across the street from us. So every time we have like leftover fabric from a project or anything like that, we just walk it over there and they do brisk business. So I'm really excited that we have now a place to take some of the stuff that we've just been stockpiling and get it back out into circulation with creative people. So we're excited about the new space. It's much larger. It's like it's 5,000 square feet. So we were able to upgrade some of our natural dye equipment. We were able to actually put our warehouse and our natural dye studio in the same place. So now if I need to know if something is in stock, I just have to walk out, you know, a few feet and ask somebody. And so the team is really kind of working together more closely and really being supportive. And it's the whole atmosphere of it has really changed. We're just feeling like tighter. So it's been really great for us. We're really happy about that. And we're starting to hold workshops there.
Yeah.
If you are in Seattle and you want to come see, just call. You know, it still looks like a warehouse, but we're happy to have you come down and would love to have you visit.
I also want to add, because that's what I do every Feedback Friday as your side person. We have our Jody Alexander was our first workshop, but we have a second workshop that is in February with Farm and Folk. And Kathy, I got the okay to say this from Julie. So we have one spot that just opened up because we had miscounted. So we have one spot, it's sold out, right? I mean, it didn't sell out since we've been talking, but so there's one spot that's open for Farm and Folk, as far as I know.
Is it open on the site?
Not quite sure, but you
Okay.
just think about it. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll open it up. And if you've signed up to be notified, then you'll get the email that says it's back in stock. But there's just one space right now.
Yeah.
If we should have other folks who are not going to be able to attend, then we'll open it up again.
Oh, I just got a question from Deborah Barker. Deborah wants to know how Feedback Fridays, how did Feedback Friday impact your own natural dye practice? She wanted to know. Well, when I first started out on Botanical Colors, I had this thing called Dyeing for Dummies, because I've never seen myself as a maker, but as a writer, I'm a maker because I can create stories and poetry and all kinds of different things. But natural dyes weren't something that I ever thought about. And Kathy kind of one day said, why don't you try some things out? Had sent me things. So I had started with Dyeing for Dummies, which is hilarious if you go back to those on our blog. But yeah, I started Feedback Fridays, made me start trying out all different kinds of things and piecing together so many different people that have had an impact on me in the natural dye world. Started looking at my space and what dyes that were close to me, but I also, you know, we've talked a lot on Botanical Colors about water quality and conserving water. So water became this really big piece for me, thinking about that. As many of you know, and I know Deborah, you know, that I started this growing dye plants in wastewater at a wastewater test site here on Cape Cod. So that looking at how color is impacted by pollution started becoming a big part of me. Like, and then, so anybody who was talking about water, my ears would just like perk up. I remember when Heidi Gustafsson, actually, Book of Earth, when I was reading her book, she had a whole section there on Vivianite and how a lot of it was found in a lot of like septic pipes and stuff. And I was like, ran down to the septic test center to all the guys and be like, this is something that's in the pipes here, Vivianite. And they're like, what? So I've been able to sort of blend over these, the natural dye world with the science world and the local environmental world, but also started collecting swatches using our, I'm addicted to our wool gauze. Kathy hates me for saying it because we have so little of it right now. But yeah, I just started creating samples of, somebody would say, what color does that give? And I'd say, well, let's look. So, and then whenever I travel now, I actually take a kit with me of a bunch of fabric swatches that are mordanted. And I instead of writing, I still write, but I journal with color. So that's been kind of some of the ways that Feedback Friday has impacted me. It's just, I think about it all the time. I feel like I identify with Feedback Friday a lot, which I think is why this is so hard. But anyways, it's 1:02.
It's 1:02. I just want to add to that a little bit and then we will conclude.
Yeah.
I think when I started as a natural dyer, I was so terrified of making a mistake that I was pretty rigid, like had to do it this way, had to do this. And you get great color if you follow kind of the rules. But I feel like you learn so much more and gain so much more awareness if you don't follow the rules. And so it feels like now, even though I have the basics down and I can, do a lot of stuff with natural dyes, that having this community who's taking actually even the same information that I've gotten and interpreting it different has really opened my eyes to just the depth of the practice. And you layer through that the history, the meaning, the indigenous importance, and then the environmental impact. And it's just really hard for me to think of any other thing that I would be so fascinated with for so long. And so I feel like that's what kind of having this forum has helped me, like learning that you could do certain things with paper or marbling or making pigments. Like making pigments was a big deal. And of course, my favorite, the mushroom thing, mushrooms were for eating, and then all of a sudden mushrooms were for dyeing in the best way. It was great. All right, Amy, shall we?
I guess. Well, should we get everybody to unmute?
You better unmute.
Unmute.
I want to hear from you.
Let's
So great to see you.
remove our
all.
spotlights.
Ah.
My God.
Okay, guys.
Speechless.
Love you, Kathy and Amy.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
you.
Thank
Thank
Laura.
We'll miss this.
Guys.
Thank
It's been
you.
great.
Definitely miss this.
Sarah.
Guys.
Thank you for all your hard
these
work on our
great-
behalf.
Look at us all.
No,
Thank you.
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 Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys are
Great.
See you soon.
I'll miss you on Friday mornings.
I'll miss you
Miss you too, but there's
I'll miss you.
134 more chances to be in here.
Yep, I'll be doing that.
Watching every Friday.
So
Bye,
when are you going to plan the
Betsy.
reunion?
I know, I want a reunion.
About
Thank
that
you.
reunion?
Hey, Leslie.
I
Bye,
wanna-
Ellie.
I look forward to seeing you
Hi,
guys.
guys.
Bye.
Hi, Amy's mom.
Miss you
Hello.
so much.
Hi, Grace.
Hey, Ellie.
So good.
Bye, Amy. Bye, Kathy.
Bye,
guys.
Love
Elspeth.
you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Carol,
I want to click leave meeting.
Bye, and thank you.
Holly. Bye, guys. So
Oh,
good.
look at everybody.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you, thank you. Thank you,
Thank you,
Kathy.
thank
Thank
you.
you, Amy.
Thank you.
Seattle.
Bye.
You.
Bye.
Bye.
Best.
Go here.
See you
I'm
for
gonna miss
supper,
everyone.
Amy.
See you for supper. What are you cooking?
I have chicken and I'm making fried rice
Oh, nice.
and salad.
We're having,
Right.
I'm gonna miss seeing all these extra people that we see at the end saying goodbye. My new friends.
See you soon.
Bye.
Especially
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Enjoy
Bye,
your
Amy.
concert.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Can't talk 'cause I'm
Bye.
crying, but I see you.
I know.